Hi, welcome to episode 125 of the Passionate Spinner podcast. My name is Tracy. You can find me as Schnüffeltier on Ravelry and Instagram. There is a Ravelry group for this podcast. Of course there is. And I put up show notes in that Ravelry group whenever I have time to do show notes. And yeah, thank you for being here. I'm just glad that you are here. So I have a lot of things to talk about this week. First off, what I'm wearing is also the first thing I have for knitting in the past. I finished my Night Nook sweater. This, I'll stand up and show you. So this is what it looks like. This is the sweater. This is how long I could get it because I ran out of the purple yarn. That's why the sleeves have no stripes. That's why the sweater looks like it looks now. Yeah, I absolutely love this sweater. It turned out so amazing. The fit is perfect. The sleeves, everything about this sweater is absolute perfect. So the pattern is by Stephen West. It's the cover pattern for his hibernating book. And it's just, this is his version. As you can see, the sleeves are supposed to be stripy. Mine are solid in the contrast yarn because I just ran out of the main yarn. So when we talked last, I was somewhere around here on the body. And then I had decided to stop knitting on the body and knit the sleeves and do the cuffs on the sleeves in contrast. I had asked you if I should do contrast cuffs or, just stick with the color. And I decided on contrast, which also what the majority of people said. So I knit the sleeves, did my contrast rib, and whatever I had left of the purple, I used then to finish the body and did the contrast rib on the body as well. So, it's perfect. The sweater is perfect. I knit this sweater on a US 6 and 7. It's a 4 and a 4.5 millimeter needle. The all the ribbing was knit on the 6, the sweater on the 7. And I just love this sweater so much. It turned out just gorgeous. The purple yarn is Regia 8 ply, and I had 5 skeins of this, and I used up every last centimeter of it. And the teal is still a mystery to me because I just actually am too lazy to go through all 400 something yarns that are listed for Schachenmeier on Ravelry. It's not gonna happen. I bought it there. It's one of their yarns, but yeah, no, it's not gonna. I won't. But I'm just happy. I'm just so happy with this. It's also very, very warm. This sweater is super warm. And yeah, I did my first brioche. As you can see here, this is 2-color brioche on the saddle shoulder, sleeve cap, whatever you want to say. I think it's saddle shoulder detail. And yeah, it's the perfect sweater. I am going to knit the Majestic Mountain sometime in the near future, and it is the same construction. It's just a bit different. It has different shoulders and it has a texture pattern all through. So it's going to be different, but it's going to be the same construction. So I already know that it will fit perfectly. So yeah, I'm going to stand up again because it's so pretty. Isn't it pretty? I think it's pretty. It looks exactly the same from the back, so I'm not going to turn around. But the length is also great. Here's my hip bone. So it goes exactly to my hip bones, which is also good because I didn't want to have this too short. But it's not. It's perfect. So I did everything according to that pattern, and I knit size. Let me check. I knit size medium. Finished measurement 44-inch bust. And I think that is realistic. I'm a 38 and I have some room in here. So it's perfect. Now I'm going to take it off because I have a second finished sweater, and that's the one I'm going to leave on because this thing is too warm right now. So, and also, don't we all love it when I change my clothes on the podcast? So, first sweater finished. It's perfect. Second sweater also finished, also perfect. This is the Soldotna crop by Caitlin Hunter. I knit this out of Knit City Tweet DK. And this is what that one looks like. This is, I made it longer than the pattern says. According to pattern, it should be this long. And that's just a bit too short for me. I didn't like that. So I made it this long because that way the skirt I wear and the crop overlap. So, you know, that's just the look I prefer. So let's talk about this sweater. This is my first full colorwork project. I made, I made a hat and mittens before, but the first full-on colorwork garment, because the two other colorwork garments that I've made just have colorwork in the yoke, or my husband's sweater has colorwork here and there, but it's not full-on. And this has colorwork all the way down to the cuff. So, yeah. It lived in my EYF bag. And where is it? There it is. So this is the pattern. It's, like I said, it's the Soldotna crop by Caitlin Hunter. I used Knit City Tweet DK. The brown is colorway Tabby. This is the yarn that I used. And I used 4 colors because that's what you need. This teal, which is, I think, called Enchanted. This is called Plum Wine. Well, let me look at these. Enchanted, Enchanted, Enchanted. And Snowshoe, which is a natural, it's the natural white. And when I came to the length of the sweater, as you have these, you know, like popcorn thingies down here, I finished the length when I ran out of the snowshoe yarn, because I didn't want to start a new skein of yarn for knitting 2 rounds where I need, you know, basically no yarn at all. So that's how I determined the length of my sweater. I ran out of one of the colorways and didn't want to attach a new skein. So I think it turned out quite nice. This is also very warm because the Knit Picks yarn is a mix of 55% merino wool, 25% alpaca, and 20% Donegal tweed. And I mean, alpaca is just very warm. So this sweater, I will not freeze in it easily. And I'm going to leave this on for the rest of the show because I like it. And it's, you know, no sleeves, so it's a bit cooler than the other one. I knit this sweater exactly as the pattern calls for. I have to tell you what size I did. I have to get it back up again. I knit size, where is it? Large. I knit size large for a finished bust circumference of 44.25 inches. And that's about 6 inches of positive ease, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want it to be too wide because if I wear it then with my Hollyburn skirts, I will just look like a potato sack all the way down because everything's going to be wide. So I knit this on a 4mm needle, and I did the colorwork two-handed for the first time, really. I did it two-handed for a hat before, but the garments I did it with, you know, drop one color, just pick up the other. But it was too much work. So my laziness caught up with me again, and I did it two-handed, which worked fine. I put up a video of me doing that on my Instagram in the just natural speed, how I knit, and then in slow motion, so you can actually see what my hands really do. But it was quite quick that way. And also the problem that I had, because my right hand usually just holds the needle, you know, and does this, and then it had to just move around a lot. So I had a bit of pain in the elbow and a lot of pain back here. So, but it's gonna go away. So yeah, this is the second finished object of this week. And I just took pictures of this, the Night Nook, and also the So-Day cardigan that I just finally blocked, and now it's perfect. So we took pictures of all of these and I just put them up on my Instagram. So there's a lot of things popping up on my Instagram today because I was finally able to take pictures, and I'm just very happy with all of these. So that's what's going on. For knitting in the present, I only have one project, and that is something I had in the knitting in the future last week. So that makes me very happy. I am working on the Cumulus blouse, which is a pattern by PassioKnit. And now, wait. Let me take out 2 fresh balls of this so I can show you. So, the Cumulus blouse, that's what I'm actually working on right now. The pattern by PassioKnit looks like this. This is the blouse. It is knit out of 2 lace weights held double, and one of those lace weights is mohair yarn, so it's, you know, nice and poofy and floofy. And I have one of these yarn roller things in action right now, so it just makes things easier. The 2 yarns I'm using is, one of those is this yarn, and I'm sorry that I cannot tell you anything that it says. I can tell you that you can wash it at 20 to 40 degrees, because that is an actual number, and it is 98% something and 2% of something else. And that is all I know, because I can't tell you. But I'm pretty sure that this is cashmere. And it's super soft. It's a lace weight. It has around, I think, it has 420 meters for 50 grams, because that's what it says when I bought it. And the other yarn I'm using is this yarn here. It has 155 meters for 25 grams. And it has polyamide, which is the sequence, virgin wool, silk, and mohair. And I'm using the Lana Grossa Silk Hair Paillettes as my second yarn. And it has these little sequins all over. And it's very fuzzy because it's mohair. So I'm holding these 2 yarns together for the Cumulus blouse. I have everything in my Fadenmacht project bag. And no, still no web shop. Sorry. It's gonna happen hopefully very soon. But yeah, that's the project bag. And I started this 6 days ago, and I cannot stop working on it, because I mean, I have to touch it all the time. I have to stop and look at it, and it's like, ah, this is so pretty, because it just is so pretty. It is the most girly thing I have ever knit, but I absolutely love it. I mean, let me untangle things a bit here. Okay. Also, the mohair goes everywhere. So this is what it looks like so far. Isn't this gorgeous? I mean, this weighs nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is just, oh, it is so nice. It's so soft and so light. And the sequins just sparkle, and it's just, it's so pretty. I was working on this on Saturday when I had knit club, and we all agreed that if it didn't have the sequins, it would be super boring. Just such a boring sweater. But the sequins, just look at that sparkle. I mean, you know, I'm the jeans and Batman t-shirt kind of girl, but this makes me so happy, and I don't really know why. But I keep doing this, just putting it here and just, you know, admiring the softness and the airiness of it, which is a bit creepy, but you know, I can't help it. It's just so nice and soft. I need to knit 5 centimeters, and then the body is finished. And it does not have a ribbing for anything. Everything finishes with an I-cord. So it's basically just stockinette all over. No ribbing, no nothing. There will be an I-cord edge going around the neckline. It has long sleeves finished off with an I-cord. The body is finished off with an I-cord. It's a bit loose, which is good. You know, that's what I want for this, because this is just going to be thrown on with stuff. It's so pretty. And it's also the only thing I have worked on, because, you know, it's stuck in it around, and not thinking is quite nice right now. After finishing So Day and this, and yeah, I mean, the Night Nook was at the end just stuck in it as well. But I just really enjoy this project. I hope I will have it done by next podcast. That was a weird sentence. I hope to have it done by the time I'm going to do my next podcast. So, okay. For knitting in the future, I've brought 2 things. I still want to do all the gray things that I want to do, but I don't want to get too boring. So I want to knit a short sleeve cardigan for myself. And it is called Window to My Soul. And I have mohair here in my face and it's just itchy. So I want to knit the Window to My Soul by Joji Locatelli. It is a short sleeve cardigan. And it has this nice lace pattern on top, and the bottom is just stockinette, and you increase a bunch of stitches after the lace bit so it's wider at the bottom. And I am going to use this yarn, and this is yarn that my friend Barbara from Almrauschwolle dyed for me. I have 3 skeins of it, and I'm gonna make this. So that's gonna go on the needles hopefully soon. And the other thing I'm going to start now is the All of the Lights, also by Joji Locatelli. And I have this buried deep under a lot of other things. So this is the pattern. I wanted to start this right when it came out, but I was still working on sew day and I didn't want to have 2 gigantic cabled cardigans on the needles. So I made myself wait until sew day is done. And sew day is done. So I'm going to start the All of the Lights by Joji Locatelli. And I am going to use Madeline Tosh Vintage in the colorway Tart. And this is so pretty and so gorgeous. The only thing it is it's thicker than the yarn called for, because Madeline Tosh Vintage is a worsted weight and the pattern calls for a DK. So my yarn is a bit thicker. So what's going to happen is the pattern calls for a 4mm needle. I'm going to use a 4.5. That's US 7 to knit the sweater. I'm still going to do my size. I was debating this today with myself, and I also asked on Instagram in my stories if it would be smarter to knit the smaller size with the bigger yarn and bigger needles and hope for the best, that it will fit in the end, or go for my actual size where I am 100 yards short on yarn. But I decided this cardigan has pockets, so I'm going to do the inside of the pocket in a contrast yarn. And also, if I do that, and you mean I'm like, what? I'm making no sense. That's what I am. I am 87 yards short. I have 1600 yards. The pattern calls in the size that I actually need for 1687 yards. So if I do the insides of the pocket in a contrast, I should be fine, because I really doubt that she writes her patterns so that you will end up with 5 centimeters left. You know, usually things are a bit overestimated. So I'm going to knit size medium large with, and just, you know, it's going to work out. And if not, I'm going to do the bottom rib a bit shorter. And I know I have Tart in a different yarn, but that different yarn is the Daisy blend, maybe some kind of flower, and it has linen in it, so it will look totally different, and I can't use that. So that's, you know, I will make it work. It will work out. I'm sure of it. I'm not going to stress it. So also, I do have some spinning, but I don't have anything to show because I started spinning a sweater quantity yesterday, and it is a kilo of a custom blend that I had made at World of Wool, which is an online shop in England. And you can have your own custom blends made there. And I started spinning that yesterday, but I have not finished the bobbin, so I didn't want to break it, just to show it. So I'm going to show it to you whenever I have something done. Now, new stuff. I also have 2 skeins of yarn, and it's the new Garn Stories Club. It's the last shipment for this round, and I decided not to renew it because I just have so much yarn that I don't need it. And that's the reason. I love this yarn, and if it were for that, I would just keep going with this forever. but I just don't need it, and I haven't used one of the skeins so far, so I'm not gonna get a new one after this. I'm just gonna, you know, stop for a while. So I got my new Garden Stories Club. It's 2 skeins of yarn. They're on the merino sock, which is a 75-25 merino nylon blend, and I love them. I'm just gonna show them now. So here they are. The top one is called Cuckoo, and the bottom one is called Rhapsody. And I mean, look at them. They are so pretty again. Garden Stories just make me so happy. So yeah, the last 2 skeins for now, because I just need to use up some before I can get more. Okay, now, biggest segment this week, reading, listening, watching. I'm going to talk about this for a while, so if you're not interested, bye. Let's have a drink before we start. For reading, I'm still reading Outlander. It's the first book in a series. I am at the after the wedding, before he needs to punish her. If you know what I'm talking about, you know, and if not, and I'm not going to get into the story more than that. I still enjoy reading it. I don't think that the books will become my absolute favorites. You know, I do enjoy the story. I enjoy reading it, but it's not calling to me, you know, to just keep reading. So I'm pretty sure it's going to take forever for me to finish the book. But that's just the way it goes. I don't have anything for listening. I was listening to the Actor, the second one, the A Court of Mist and Fury. And I don't know. I basically am now at the same point where I had stopped listening to the audiobooks before. And I feel like it's going to be the point where I'm stopping again. And I don't know, I don't really know why, because I love the books. I read them and I love them so much. And I've listened to the first book, and then I now have listened to like 2/3 of the second book. But I just don't really want to keep going. I'm not sure. I don't know why. Maybe I will start something else. I just don't know. I really just don't know. I can't explain why, but I feel like now that Farah found herself and knows what she wants and who she is, this kind of the story is over for me. You know, that's, I mean, might be stupid, but that's just the way it is. And now, watching. My husband and I, we did a lot of watching, which was nice because we don't get to do that a whole lot anymore. And this week we just watched all the things every evening. Our son was quite sick this week. He just had a cold, you know, it's nothing serious. He had a cold and an ear infection, which sucks, but you know, it's not bad. But it's super weird. He was fine in the morning, no fever, nothing. And then midday, he would always get a super high fever for like 3 hours, and then it would go away again until the next day, midday. So he was, of course, at home, and I was at the doctor's with him almost every day just to, you know, monitor his ears and see if the infection gets worse or better or whatever. And we ended up having to give him antibiotics in the end because it just wouldn't stop. It would not go away. But he's fine now. It's just, you know, nothing serious. It's just an ear infection and a cold. It still sucks very badly. So, in the evenings after he went to bed, my husband and I would just sit down together and watch a movie just to relax a bit. So the first thing we did, we watched Police Academy. Because, you know, that's a film I've seen in my childhood. It's from the 80s, and it's so not politically correct now. I mean, I remember loving it and laughing at it so hard, and we still laughed, but some of the jokes I was like, yeah, no, you couldn't do that nowadays. And rightfully so. You know, it's just... So we watched Police Academy, and after that, we decided to go with something a bit more modern. And we watched The Nice Guys, which is a a comedy with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, and it takes place in the 70s, and they're private investigators, and they're, you know, kind of bad at their job, but it's fun. It was a really funny movie. And then we went and watched German things, which never happens in this house. We moved together very long ago. When we did, we decided not to have a television, but only to watch DVDs. Because back then, there was no Netflix. It didn't exist. So we bought DVDs, and we have lots of them, and we watched everything in English. So for us to watch something in German is like, but the things we watched are actual German movies. And I tried watching some of them in English, and they were so bad. That's just, oh God. So we watched them in German. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that there is no way to translate some of these. So I'm still going to talk about them because they are amazing. So we started out by watching the Fuck You Goethe movies, which are movies about school, basically, and teachers. And I am a teacher. So when this movie came out, I was a bit skeptical. You know, would it be one of those movies where the teacher is always, you know, the butt of the joke and the person who's just too lazy to get a real job and just sucks in general? Because that's how most movies depict teachers, you know, because that's just how life works. And they didn't. I mean, if you are in Germany, you probably seen the movies, but if you're not, I'm gonna try to explain. So the first movie starts with a guy being released from prison, and he gets picked up by his friend who's a hooker, and he was in prison for robbing a bank, and she buried his money for him, and he's like, good, I'm out, I want to get my money now so I can, you know, start over. And she had buried the money at a construction site that now just happens to be the new gym of a school. So he sees that the school wants a new janitor, and he applies for that job, or he walks in to apply for that job, but they are also looking for a substitute teacher, and he kind of gets mixed up, and now he has the worst class at the school, and he has to work with them, which is fun. You know, this would never ever happen in real life, but it was really funny because ultimately he ended up really being the one who cared. And so yeah, the movies are basically about troubled kids and how they need someone to be there, and how troubled adults can find themselves by taking care of others. I think that's a quintessential bit. But yeah, I brought the DVD boxes because the first one is really good. It's really funny. And when it came out, I was still teaching. And our local cinema did a screening for kids or for schools. So we went there in the morning with the 9th and 10th graders, I think, were only allowed. But we went to cinema, and I was sitting in the cinema surrounded by my kids. And it was a great experience. It was super funny. And yeah, they basically told me that I was a lot like the guy, just without the criminal past and without the violence. So not sure if that's a very good thing or not, but yeah, we had a lot of fun watching it together. So this is the first two movies. So like I said, the first one I told you what it's about. The second movie is very unrealistic because they go on a school trip to Thailand because, you know, that's what you do. And the third movie is all about them getting their degrees, their, you know, high school finishing degrees. So yeah, it's a fun trilogy. But to be honest, if you have not seen movies 2 and 3, you will still live. If you are in German, you have to watch them. I actually have no idea if they are in English. They are not on this DVD. So, and I think that a lot of this is based upon youth slang, you know, and how they actually talk. And they do talk like this. Just so you know. If you're not a teacher, if you do not have anything to do with young people, it is very close to reality. So yeah, it's not really easily translated. But we watched these and just had so much fun. And then after that, my husband had to go away for a day, and I watched in the evenings the Ruby Red Trilogy movies. The Ruby Red Trilogy is a book trilogy written by Kerstin Gier, and I love those. And it's a German trilogy. I read them in German because that's the original language. They are amazing. I listened to them in the English version once because a lot of English booktubers said that they didn't like it, and I just didn't get it. And now I do know why they don't like it, because the translation is awful. Yeah. So these are the movies I had tried to watch in English once and didn't really like them. So I watched them in German again. And if you have not read the books, you will really like the movies. If you have read the books, you will be very angry at the movies. The first one, Ruby Red, is, it's still a bit like the book. Or let's say it's close to the book. The second one is, it still has some ideas from the book and some major story points that appear in the movie. And the third one, which is Emerald Green, has nothing to do with the book whatsoever. Absolutely nothing. And that just sucks. If you do a book to movie adaptation, and your final movie has nothing to do with the source material, something went very wrong there. So, like I said, if you have not read the books, go for the movies. They're fun movies. If you have read the books, just know that the third one has nothing to do with what you have read. And then, because we loved Fuck You Goethe so much, we decided to watch something else, or I made my husband watch something else, and that is Türkisch für Anfänger, which is the first thing that the writer for Fuck You Goethe has done. And it was originally a television show, 3 series long, and then a feature film after. That is the same people, the same behaviors, but a totally different story. And we did watch the movie because it is fun. It's just so much fun. And he is also the main guy in the Fuck You Goethe movies. So yeah, we watched the movie, super fun. But the best thing still is the TV show. And yes, I have this on DVD because this is something you could watch once a year and just not get tired of it because it is so funny. So this is a German television show, the only one I've ever watched and enjoyed. And it is about these two people, falling in love and deciding to move in together. And she, the German mother, has a daughter and a son who's not on here. And the Turkish father has a son and a daughter. And they move in together and they hate each other. And every cliche under the sun is dealt with in this movie. So the Germans, the mother, she's a psychologist and she's just very spiritual and very alternative and very open and just very different than, most people would be. And her daughter is so closed up and just so angry and just so and she's the main protagonist, the daughter, the German daughter. And the Turkish man is a police officer, and his son is just so cliche. It's just, he's the cliche. With talking like he's from the ghetto. I'm not sure if that is politically correct to say, but I don't know how to say it different in English, so it makes sense. And the daughter, the Turkish daughter, is a very, very strong in her Muslim religion. So all of these people clash together in this house. And it is so funny because, the young people, all teenagers, they still go to school and they deal with all the things that teenagers deal with. First love, first broken heart, and just finding out who you are, what you want to be, and then living together with someone from a completely different culture and who just hates your guts for being in this family now that you didn't want to have in the first place. So it's just so funny. And the good thing about it is, it's called Turkish für Anfänger, which basically translates to Turkish for beginners. And the man who wrote it, and who also wrote the Fuck You Goethe movies, he is a Turkish German, or German Turk. I don't know how to say that. Ein Deutsch Türke. Yeah, he's of Turkish heritage, but he is a German. So that's just the fun. You know, it's just so much fun. So if you are German and you have not watched this, you should. I do know that this is available in English, and I'm pretty sure that it is called in English kebab for breakfast, which is a stupid translation already, you know, so I'm not sure how good it will be, because the title already has nothing to do with what it actually is called, so I'm not sure. But there is an English version if you are interested. But don't blame me if it sucks. I can only talk about the German version, and the German version is amazing. So, and also this is older. Does it say? Because I watched this when I was still living at home in television, you know. I actually watched it in television. So, season 1, copyright 2009. No, that can't be. Is that it? No, it has to be older. That's not possible, because in 2009 I wasn't living at home anymore. I have to check it out, but I love it. If you are German, you need a good laugh, watch it. It's on Netflix, by the way. So, yeah, that was it. That was a very long talk. We finished season 1 and we are now watching season 2 on Netflix. So, yeah, just fun. So much fun. Okay, sewing. I made a sweater for my son, but he also already wore it and it is dirty. Now, I couldn't bring it, but I brought the fabric. So I just made another long sleeve sweater, and I used this fabric for the body, and he chose this fabric at the local fabric fair 2 weeks ago. So I used this for the body, this for the sleeves, and this for the neckline ribbing. That's what I did. Now, everything else. There is going to be a VKN this Saturday, which is the 13th of April at 9 p.m. GMT +1. We have changed the clocks now. We are in summertime now. So, you know, everything should be back to normal. And then for my mental health talk, I wanted to say, first of all, a very big thank you for all the feedback that I received from my mental spring cleaning talk that I did last week. It means so much to me that you know, enjoy this bit of the podcast where I just talk about, you know, important stuff. So yeah, thank you for getting in touch with me for that. And then for today, I just have a short thing because, you know, even though I'm trying to be okay with me and just being who I am and not giving a shit about others, there's still some times where it just doesn't work. And I'm pretty sure I talked about this before, but I'm just going to say it again. There's a quote by the Dalai Lama that I really like, and it says, "Don't let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace." And that is what happens to me a lot. You know, other people do something that just doesn't sit right with me, or I just think, why are you doing it that way? Or why are you behaving that way towards me? And it just, stuff like that tears me down really, you know, really deep. And I'm trying really hard to not let that tear me down, to not let the behavior of others destroy my inner peace, but it's not always working. And it also really depends on who it is. If it's just someone I loosely know, I'm going to be angry maybe for an hour, but then I just forget about it. But if it is someone who I care about, a friend or a family member, it can really ruin a day or two, if that's enough, you know? So, I am trying. I'm not always successful, but in general, I just feel so much better, which is good. It makes me happy. I'm not sure if it is because the weather is changing and we're finally getting spring over here, although we did have snow this week, you know. But I'm I do feel better, way better. And yeah, now if I just learn to live by that quote, things will be perfect. Well, not perfect, but you know, as good as they can be. So yeah, that's what I'm going to work on. And hopefully I will get there. And if not, I'm going to tell you about it because, you know, this is what I do. Okay, I am going to go now because I talked a lot. And I'm going to talk to you hopefully sometime next week. And don't forget, VKN this Saturday, 13th of April. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful time and enjoy everything you do. Bye.